Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 4 of my Ironman Prep update vid. It's been a minute since episode 3. I think I let you know that I chose the best coach in the world in episode 3, which sounds like absolute clickbait, but I think I did. The best coach for me at this point in time. If you didn't know, I chose Pete Clifford from High Performance Triathlon, and we're a couple weeks in. It's been great. It is so good waking up in the morning and not having to think about how long, what intensity, what discipline I'm going to be training. Just wake up and I execute on the workout that is prescribed. So yeah, Pete is exactly what I need right now, especially with my lack of information about the sport, and just there's a really fast feedback cycle. So I'm learning so much so quick. Every time I complete a workout, I put some my comments into Training Peaks, that is, and it just really gives Pete an understanding of what I'm enjoying, what's working, what's not working, and he can also gather if I'm responding to the workouts or not. And he adds his sprinkle of informative wisdom that he's just accumulated from just decades of doing what he does. So I really appreciate that, and I didn't think that I would need such a hands-on approach, but I'm loving it. So I sent a video of me swimming over to Pete. Super janky, me swimming away from the Osmo action in the pool and then back towards, and Pete watched it, analyzed it, and then sent the video back to me with his commentary or a voiceover overlaid on top. And this was super useful because he would pause the video every time he would see an element of my body position that is going wrong.
Position's an issue.
So essentially my understanding is that your hands, head, hips and heels all should be in the same line when you're swimming in the water. When they're not, you're creating too much drag and that's slowing you down, something you don't want. So boy, Pete pointed out some pretty big ticket items. We got a lot of work to do, which is exciting, but also we've got a lot of work to do. So the things that he found was that, starting with the top, my hand is entering the water in front of my head and not out in front of my shoulder. My head is not low enough in the water, which is causing my body to be a bit not level. What else is there? My heels are not touching the surface of the water when I kick, so they're essentially sinking in the water and then dragging me along. And then also when I kick, it's not an efficient kick. My feet are quite loose. They're escaping each other, which means they're too far apart, causing extra drag. You guessed it. So we also talked through some solutions to this stuff. So we've got some kicking drills to do, can engage the core to keep the feet towards the surface. We can keep the head down when I'm swimming and entering the hand in front of the shoulder.
Quite deep with the water, the heels touching the surface a little bit in there. So what we need to get is more like your hand entering in front of your shoulder there. So hand enters at the shoulder and then pulls straight through.
So there was a lot of negative, but the one good thing he did say was that I'm a bit of a unit, so propulsion is okay, which I'm happy with. So I know the solutions, but I'm really struggling with the implementation. When I'm actually swimming week after week, I don't actually know if I'm genuinely fixing these problems or not. So I need to get in front of Pete or in front of a coach and just get them to watch me swim in real life and point out when I'm doing something wrong. Otherwise, you just don't know if you're fixing it. I've started the specific drills and I like them because you can focus on one thing at a time, and there is a lot to think about in swimming. So trying to fix all these things at once, it feels quite complex and frustrating when you can't do everything at once, or you get tired really quick when you're trying to swim with the good form and work on some of this stuff. Also in the pool, a friend gifted me a Garmin Epix, which is a Garmin watch, and it's just not recording right. So basically I'll get out of a swim session and it's recorded like 1100 meters out of the 2K that I swam, which is quite frustrating. And I think that's got something to do with wearing paddles at times, or doing tumble turns at the end of the pool, but it's just not registering the 50 meter swim lengths. So what I've done to try and fix that is I'll make sure that I'll touch the tiles at the end of the wall with my swim arm, and then it will kind of register that lap or that distance. But it's still a bit hit and miss, and it's really frustrating me because I don't know if it's a hardware issue, if I'm doing something wrong. I figured like once you hit start timer, it should just measure your distance and I should just forget about it. I just want to hit lap after each little drill that I'm doing and just have the distance recorded accurately. Is it too much to ask for? I think so, but I might reach out to Garmin if I can't find a solution. Running. I am really enjoying running and I don't know why. It hurts, but I think it's the convenience factor. It's just so flippin' convenient to go out for a jog, 20, 30, 40, an hour even. You just put on some shoes, you're out the door, and there's so much bang for your buck, even though it feels like it's tearing my body down a fair bit. Like I notice the impact on the body compared to obviously cycling and swimming, which are low impact. But yeah, I'm still wondering if it's the convenience factor or if I actually like running that much. We'll see. Cycling. I've come from cycling. So if anything, it feels business as usual, if not easier. The reason is because I'm doing less of it and the sessions that I have are like one structured session a week for an hour, hour and a half. Super easy to execute. And then the rest are kind of zone 2 endurance and one bunch ride. Pete has left my bunch ride with the fellas, which I do on a Saturday. I love it. It's great. It's good for the mental health and not only for just pushing myself if I need to on the bike. But we did a cool ride. Cool is the wrong choice of words, but a ride on a 46-degree hot day in Sydney, and we did 200 Ks. Like idiotic, honestly. I probably wouldn't do it again, but I did it. Yeah. And after this 46-degree hot day, the following days I started to feel really bad, and I was thinking, wow, I'm getting sick. Okay, cool. This is just effects from the really hot day. I really did push myself. But actually, for 5 days afterwards, my diabetic Dexcom sensor actually failed. So it was reading blood sugar values really low, 3.9, 4, 5. But in reality, my sugars were over 20, which is really high for those of you who don't know blood sugar ranges. Normal is, call it between 4 and 8, but mine were reading over 20. And I didn't realize this. So throughout the week, over this 5-day period, I was getting sicker. And I was like, what is going on? Until after 5 days, I calibrated with a finger prick check, which allows me to compare the sugar values that the Dexcom is reading. And that's when I found out that this thing has failed and reading wrong values, and I'm just getting sicker and sicker throughout the week. So the symptoms I noticed were weight loss, I'm weeing all the time, I'm really, really thirsty. So these are typical symptoms when you have really high blood sugar values. And it took me so long to realize, because you feel lousier and lousier as time goes on and your sugars are higher, you're not all there mentally. The following week, I've just spent recovering and coming back to normal, basically. Yeah, the bike. Well, I picked up a TT bike off my friend Box, and it's just sitting there gaining dust because I've been feeling lousy, and I just mentally I'm not ready for the complexity of jumping on a TT bike, mucking around the position and changing cranks to shorter cranks, power cranks, just all the things that are required to set up a new bike right at the end of the year. It's felt a bit much. So I've just simplified things, and it's a 2024 problem. And I'll share that whole saga of setting up a new bike and jumping on and what that's all like. Cancelled my gym membership. I just don't have the energy after completing triathlon training, to be honest. And there's no major injuries that I'm keeping at bay. And so I chatted with Pete, and at the moment we just don't need a gym membership. So I've canned it, which feels great. It's saving an extra $25 a week. And we can always restart it later down the track towards Cairns, which, if you didn't know, is my goal, half Ironman in Cairns. So the bits that I think I'll miss from the gym are just changing it up even more. I like going to the gym and doing a couple sets of squats and then hitting the steam room or the sauna afterwards. It's like a bit of heat training. It makes me feel great. It changes things up. So I'll miss that a little bit, but also I'm glad to just simplify things even more. I'm just noticing the effects of just training multiple different disciplines, the time, the energy, the effort that's involved. I'm looking just to simplify my life even more. When you add more in some areas, I've just got to keep it simple and all the rest. Going to Hong Kong from Boxing Day to New Year's, which I'm really looking forward to. I don't usually like to escape this time of year. I love staying in Sydney. It's quiet. The roads are quieter. So the riding is great. Everyone's around, or the people I ride with at least. So we do some really epic rides, and yeah, I'm gonna miss that. But because I've been a bit unwell the last couple of weeks, I'm also looking to escape for the week and just taking a pair of running shoes, doing some runs, just doubling down on photography and food and videos, and just enjoying a little trip away. But yeah, this is the first year I'm gonna miss the Festive 500, which is interesting. I tried MyWhoosh this week, which is like a free alternative to Zwift, and I've only used it once, but my current thoughts are I'm not going back to Zwift, because it's no different to Zwift if you use it just as a training platform in terms of to get your workout, your trainer workout done, and you don't interact with the platform much while you're training like me. I just watch my own content on an iPad, and it's just as easy to set up as Zwift, which is great. The one thing I found was I couldn't upload my custom workouts from Training Peaks onto the MyWhoosh app on iOS at least, and I have a Mac, so I can't get MyWhoosh on my Mac. It's only on Windows. So what I did was I just emulated HPT Pete's workout that he had on Training Peaks, and I built it up myself in MyWhoosh, which was really quick. The workout wasn't that complex, but it worked fine. So I think we'll leave it there. You can probably expect maybe a Hong Kong vlog before the next Ironman update, and I will see you the next time I feel like making a video.